After noticing a digital learning divide over lockdown, Kensington-based Leighton House Museum launched a Time for Art initiative, gifting 250 creativity boxes to disadvantaged households for the Easter holidays.
So on the front, we were really looking at this idea of a ribbon. So it looked like a present. And then the box itself is sturdy. It's a keepsake box where they keep their art and their materials and the things that they make, and so on. So it's got the gift tag as well. Once we'd established that we wanted it to be a gift and we wanted it to have fun art activities, and all the materials that a child or young person would need to take part in all of those activities, it actually it's quite complex. And also with that principle of, they do not have access to a computer. They can't, the extreme scenario of, they cannot do any research online, they can't watch YouTube tutorials or anything. So this box really has to function. We were already linked up with 2 contemporary artists. So one of them is Lorelei Ray, and she is a ceramicist and an illustrator, and she lives in Istanbul, and she came up with these sorts of activities, taking inspiration from some of the motifs in the house. We were also keen that the boxes, weren't limited to a particular age. So I know that they've gone out to children who are as young as 6 right through to teens, age 16, 17, 18. So they have to work in that way. So we linked up with Winsor and Newton, and they thought really carefully about, the combination of colours. So they were choosing watercolor paints in a particular kind of spectrum of colors, which would kind of work together. They were really generous in that, these aren't the sort of, how can I say it without sounding really crass? They're not the offcuts, they're not bits and bobs that they had hanging around in a warehouse. They're all, beautiful quality. It was that idea of a local arts producer and a local museum coming together to help local children. And then the sort of third part of the puzzle, which was probably the most challenging, was how do we actually find the children who would most benefit from a box? And that's where we linked up with West London Zone, which are this amazing charity with their link workers in the 7 primary schools in the borough that the boxes went to. They were able to really identify the children who would enjoy the box and would like to receive it as a present. So 140 went out via West London Zone, and then 110 went out via our colleagues in family services, so RBKC Family Services, and they identified children and young people living in care, living on the edge of care, families in need. Some of the boxes, I think, went to their teams working with children with disabilities and their sort of short breaks program, and they came back and said that quite a few of the boxes went to older children, so that it was through them that the boxes reached 16, 17, 18-year-olds, which was great, because I think sometimes teens can get a bit forgotten. That was how we found the recipients of the boxes. And then there was this massive kind of effort, because 250, when it started, I was thinking, 250, is this just sort of a drop in the ocean? But then you have to keep saying to yourself that that each of those 250 is obviously an individual child where it could make a real difference. And we were so lucky with we had volunteers come in who wanted to help. We could not have done it without them actually giving up their time and packing these boxes. And then it was volunteers as well who actually got them out to the schools in time for the Easter holidays.